All right, so let me first start with Vikas. So Vikas, a quick question to you. So while we have been having conversations about autonomous networks for a while, but something has shifted, right? Something has shifted in the last few months, and we see a lot much more of that in our conversations today. How do you see this panning out over next 3 to 5 years in terms of change and the impact?
Well, thank you, Sushant. Thank you all. So I'm Vikas. I'm taking care of the core network in Airtel. Well, Sushant, there are so many things which have changed. Specifically, you see the momentum is gaining in last 6 months, and like things are really going to a very different level. Yesterday, I was finding like what is the amount of traffic is being generated by the AI apps, and you'll not believe like it's at least like doubling every month. So just see the trend 3 months back. How is the traffic? Every month it's doubling, like clubbing all the AI apps. Is the trend which we are going into. So when we see the autonomous networks, it is like clearly defined by the TM forum, wherein like level 0 is manual, level 1 is some sort of assisted operations, wherein like we are bringing some sort of automation in the network. We are doing some repeat task in an automated way. Then it goes to the the partial autonomy, wherein some repeat tasks, some sort of optimization, some sort of onboarding tasks are being done with help of automation. Then it goes to the conditional, wherein like conditional autonomy, we build a cohort of the network, and that particular domain in that ecosystem is being automated in a better way. And then goes to the high level of automation, wherein a lot of things are automated. The network run on its own. It operates on its own. It heals on its own. And as a human, we only have to tell the intent. We only have to tell like what is the peak level, what is the experience which we intend to get, and network does it on its own. And the last one is the fully automated. So the way I see most of the telecom operators across the globe, they are nowadays between 1 to 3, and the way I'm like finding things are moving, next 3 years, many operators will be around level 4. As Airtel, if I give you a real-time like example, like AI is a buzzword, everyone speaks about that. But in Airtel, we are truly focused on this, the automation and the AI journey. Like for an example, the spam protection which we are bringing, like billions and trillions of calls and SMS are being generated. And we are having, like if we have to identify a caller as a spam, these are like 254 parameters, which we look every call, every transaction, and then we can tag that particular caller as a spam. I mean to say, if we are getting a call from a particular number, if we have to decide if it is a normal customer or a spam, there are so many ways. Like, as I told you, 254 parameter, you can see the age of the network. If the customer is quite new on the network, good chances it could be a spammer. If he's only making outgoing calls, good chances it's a spammer. If it is like making random calls across, doing a telemarketing, there is a pattern to identify that. And as part of network, the way we have deployed it, we can detect a spammer in less than 2 millisecond type of time. So this requires a continuous learning of the traffic pattern. You cannot apply a static rule. You cannot be like relying on the traditional way of automation to deliver something like this. You need a lot of innovation and a good AI backend to deliver all of that piece. The second thing where I see automation is like really moving and really delivering for customers and for operators is energy efficiency. I mean to say, for running a telecom network, we need to spend OPEX. And the way OPEX can be optimized, AI is helping a lot on that piece. Let's take example of Delhi. So I was CTO for Delhi network a couple of years back. And what I was finding, 30% of the sites are not carrying any sort of traffic in the night between 12 to 6. All the commercial places, many roads, many highways, they are not carrying any traffic. So what we were doing a couple of years back, we were like created some static rules, trying to shut down some of the radios, trying to shut down some of the spectrums, which was not effectively used. We could save a lot of money out of it. But nowadays, what we are doing is we are doing it in a very different level with help of AI, wherein we are trying to understand, learning the pattern of traffic and customers on every cell, and then intelligently we can predict what's going to happen. The earlier approach with automation was a reactive approach, but now it's quite predictive. We know what's going to happen, and that's the way we are able to save almost 2x of what we were doing earlier as part of the static rules on the energy efficiency. So these are the things which are delivering on the ground, and we can see a very good results. The third thing, it could be like if you see the call center. If a customer is making a call to call center, what is typically happening? The customer is hearing a IVR. IVR is asking him to press 1, press 2, and all of that. The customer spends whole set of time, and then he is able to do whatever is required. But now with help of AI, what we are doing is we are routing the call to the chatbot. The AI chatbot is actually answering the call, cutting the crap. It understand what customer is asking. It speaks to the customer, understand what is required, and give the solution then and there. So this IVR and all of that stuff is going to go away. So with so many things, we are at Airtel, we are actually using the AI to the core, and we are bringing it to the ground where customers can feel it. It's not a buzzword in Airtel anymore. We are using it day in, day out.
Perfect. Oh, that's wonderful to hear. And I like the way how you have put it into various buckets and how the maturity is going. So not only that augurs well for where we are today, but also where we will get to be. So let me flip that question now and come to Abhay. Abhay, you have just seen Vikas talk about all the opportunities out there and how we can realize this opportunity for us. But from your vantage point, what are the biggest barriers that you see in large-scale adoption of these technologies?
Correct. So we all are very excited about AI being used in the telecom networks and the predictiveness, everything that it brings in, and the things that we can do with it. However, we also need to be aware that in India the telecom networks are pretty big, and some of them have been there for quite some time. We talked about earlier in the day about 4G and 5Gs. So there are equipments which are there. So and there are multi-vendor equipment. So some of the challenges could be that whenever we are looking at automation or AI use cases, it has to be across the network, across the technology, and multi-vendor. So the cases that I think Vikas talked of, most of the operators are doing that. So it requires to work across generation, work with the legacy ecosystem. Second thing that we have to look at that the security aspects of introducing AI, its internet connectivity, and the data stays in network. These are some of the things that one has to look into. We certainly believe that all these challenges are possible to overcome. They are not showstoppers, and AI is definitely going to be there, if not already there in the various parts of the network. So I believe these challenges are there, but they are easily overcome also with time.
Absolutely. When your why is strong enough, you figure out the how. Right?
Correct.
So the why is very strong here. So, and India has been replete with examples of how we have innovated and also how our regulatory regime has enabled that. So let me now come to Mr. Bharadwaj. So sir, we heard about the opportunity that is there in front of us and some of the challenges as well. Would like to have your perspective on how the regulatory framework is evolving in this particular domain and what all is the point of view from the government side.
Thank you, Sushant. So basically, in terms of regulatory framework, if I can say it in one word, enablement is the key. And we have come out with a new Telecom Act. We are right now in various stages of drafting the rules. And we are making sure that not only through stakeholder consultations, but through an open mechanism, we are able to enable the networks, because as my both pre-speakers told, networks have become seamless. Telecom network is now a very small part of the ecosystem, and that ecosystem has to run as a whole. So, the boundaries of a telecom network are blurring with compute on demand required, with AI agents coming, and he told that every month AI chat bots traffic is becoming 2x and all. So the whole thing has to be in such a way that no compliances, no regulatory thing comes on the way of innovation, comes on the way of operators' ability to deploy what they need to deploy, while making sure that, whatever rule engines they are putting, whatever mechanisms they are putting, they are transparent, they are accountable, and they are above board, because your AI tools, your AI engine should not start creating layers among type of customers, should not start creating, while we all know that network slicing and everything, those are the positive features, but they are used as per traffic demand, as per the demand of use cases, and not create such rules, and whatever rule engines are built are transparent and visible and customer oriented. That is what we are doing, and we are enabling creation of regulatory sandboxes, so that whatever the telcos want to do and whatever their back-end service providers in terms of software providers and network providers want to do, they're able to test it in the real life environment, and they are able to show it to us that it is not going beyond or causing anything adverse to the customer. That's what we at DoT are doing.
Perfect. Thank you. Now that's really heartening to hear. And regulatory sandboxes and the innovations, it allows us to jointly innovate rather than innovate in isolation. And that brings me to my next point, and to Lieutenant General Kochhar. From the industry perspective, when we are looking at all this innovation, then what kind of partnerships do you see evolving to accelerate this transformation? Now, this could be startups, this could be academia, this could be government, this could be operators or technology providers. How do you see this entire ecosystem evolving, if you will?
So you've named the partners yourself, and everybody in the ecosystem has to contribute to this evolving environment which is coming up. The very nature of AI shows that it is a broad-based technology which encompasses everything. It is not like a vertical, it is broad-based. And therefore, the manner in which we look at AI, empowering networks, empowering regulation and vice versa, has to be looked at quite differently. Now, specifically if I talk about regulation, what Anilji has said is really nice. What I would like to add is that till now we have regulation which is rule-based regulation. Mm-hmm. Going forward with AI enablement, rule-based regulation may not work. And we may have to go into outcome-based regulation. And the way Sanjay Malik said that there are networks for AI, AI for networks, I would also like to add that then the consequences of that is huge data centers. And he himself had said that there will be edge data centers which will come up, there will be distributed data centers. So the entire environment has to cooperate, bring this in, and innovation has to come maybe from the youngster, from the startups. But that has to be enabled by government, and it has to be adopted by industry, and see that it is for the benefit of the subscriber by the regulators. So this is the way I think it will be evolving.
Absolutely. No, I like that point about saying not have rule-based regulation, because the domain itself is so fast evolving. By the time you set the rules, maybe the rules are out of date. Now, we heard about the opportunities, we heard about challenges, we heard about regulation and the ecosystem. But the proof of the pudding is about value. So let me actually now come to Girish. There is one thing that the street always recognizes is the bottom line and the top line. So what kind of real life impacts have you seen in your experience of deploying AI in telecom networks?
See, I think the major step in AI is the automation. And automation is not new for telcos in India and OEMs. Right? If I take the example of self-healing networks, again, it was the reactive automation where we deployed terabit capacity networks which were reacting to anomalies that the network faced real time. Now, again, this has served most of the operators in India, where we know the amount of infrastructure issues that we have, the amount of construction that goes on. But our self-healing networks that we have deployed, partnering with operators, have delivered us a substantial result. Now we need to take that one step ahead, where instead of only reacting to network anomalies, we will orchestrate and stitch that to, let's say, a user behavior or a particular pattern behavior. And I think that is very well possible. As you know, it's been more than a decade that we are seeing this transforming transport networks, and I very well see it doing to the next step as we move ahead. And also in terms of scale, because we are talking about networks that will be carrying terabit capacity, connecting DCs, connecting various regional networks, even subsea to a certain extent. So I think this is very well possible, and we've been delivering this for more than a decade now.
Wonderful. So it's not all talk. There is a substantial value waiting to be unlocked over here, is what I hear from you. Moving forward, and now we'll change the format a bit. So these will be open questions, and I'll request anyone in the panel to come in and add and give your opinion on. So, sure, of course, please.
I'll give you a real world example where we are using this AI and automation. So I'll tell you like a story. Like 4 years back, I was working as Delhi CTO. I've gone in an area in Chandni Chowk. It's part of Delhi, wherein like what we are finding is there are so many illegal repeaters which are deployed, which are actually creating a lot of interference. And our FD layers are mostly interferent in that particular area. Now what was happening, because FD layer is interferent in a static way. So shop open at 9 a.m. The shopkeeper turn on the repeaters, and from 9 a.m. onwards, the FD got interfered. And then at that point of time, the TD layer is clean. In a very static way, we are keeping our customers on TD layer in that area for making the voice calls. But what happened, TD layer, as you know, like it's again prone to the ducting. As and when the ducting comes, it hits you very bad. So at times, the FD layer is clean. In a similar time, could be possibility in the next day the TD layer could be cleaner than FD in the same area, in the same geography. So what was there? Like initially we built some automation wherein like we keep on flipping the customers from layer to layer, but again that was happening with a delay, and every time we were doing, the customers were getting impacted. So intelligently, with the help of the SON, with the help of the automation, taking it to the AI level, we started like creating the pattern. What's happening out there? What is the user behavior? What is the ducting prediction? What is the cleaner layer which is available? And how quickly we can flip the customers? I mean to say, if we know, okay, like from 10 o'clock, the ducting is going to come. Can we shift the customers just 5 minutes before that? That's going to help. And then again, predicting the interference due to the illegal repeaters. That is the way, if you can predict the things in advance, you can keep the customer experience intact, and then you can learn the pattern, keep on improving the things on the ground. So that's how we are using the AI to a very different level, and we can see a real results on the ground.
No, that's really insightful. So apart from the bottom line improvement that we heard from you, there's also customer experience improvement that can be put to place. So that's absolutely fascinating. Let me switch gears a bit, and some of these questions are more broader in nature, so hence I am asking this in an open format. With all this push on automation, AI, autonomous networks, and we have some of our colleagues here in the audience today, if let's say I am a young telecom engineer or a professional and I was to start my career today, what is the advice that you will give me, considering there's a lot of automation and AI already in the play? How would you see the human angle around it? Anyone, please.
I can take a first shot. I think technologies are going to come, every day. I think the biggest factor, and especially for youth, right, is adopting those technologies, not resisting them. The moment you start adopting new technologies, it will also help individuals to be able to scale better, to be able to have better outputs. So I think this is like a one-shot advice that I would give. Please adopt technologies. They are here to help you and make your life more simpler rather than resisting it.
Good point.
I mean, I'll just add on what Girish said. See, with AI, I mean, let's be certain that, and we are all seeing those kind of news, that the core is going back from coding to the hardware and to the firmware. And that's where, if you are a budding person who is looking at career options, you have to go back. Today, if you look at the top valued companies, they have gone back from Microsoft and Facebook of the world to Nvidia and Apple of the world, because it's not the software alone or the codes alone. So we have to go back towards the basic engineering, radio engineering, RAN technologies, waveforms. And I see this moving from a pure IT to a core engineering side. If you are a telecom engineer, you have to move towards core telecom engineering. And that's where the career options are moving, and that's where the future youth must now start applying. Yes, coding must be important, coding may continue to be important, but it is the pure engineering, it is the understanding of pure engineering functions, radio functions, technologies, which is going to be the future in this age where lot of automation and lot of repetitive works will be taken over by AI.
And I'll add to it. Apart from the technological skills, I think the software skills, in terms of the technology is changing very fast. So awareness, one should be aware of, acceptability of the technology, which is what Girish mentioned, and also, have more data analytical skills, problem solving skills. The problems would remain similar types, and it can change once there is an attitude for problem solving. I think that's what I would add.
So I would say that the foundation has to be pure engineering, like Anil said, but the middle layer will be taken over by AI. So the students must now start focusing, in whatever stream they take, they should start focusing on using data sciences at a higher level. And use of AI, there will be some select job openings in creating AI, but utilizing AI will be where the job opportunities will come, and people should focus in this with a sound foundational work in core engineering. That is essential.
Perfect. No, I think the message is loud and clear, right? As they say, when the wind blows, some people build barns and some people build sails. So I think the advice from the panel is build sails, right? And ride the wave rather than trying to resist it, because this is the way, the nature of the. And the other key point I picked up here is focus on the core domain or engineering, because that's going to become more and more important. Whereas the middle layer, as you said, is going to get heavily automated. The work around the core engineering and core domain itself is going to amplify. So wonderful hearing your thoughts on that topic. There are two more themes I wanted to cover and quickly. The first theme I wanted to cover is that it's easy to talk about autonomous AI or AI implementation in an area where you're starting afresh. But of course, India has a huge legacy network, which is out there. So what should be the path that we should take as a country, as industry? Should it be straight away rip and replace, move very fast? Or should it be gradual? Should it be hybrid? What are your thoughts around the entire transition to autonomous networks?
So I'll give it a try first. So as I said earlier, that the networks are vast and there are equipments which have a lot of shelf lives in the network. So obviously, rip and replace is not the practical way of looking at things. I think the adaptation of automation should be there across all sets of the equipment types and the life cycle of the product, and the solutions that should come out of it should coexist. Of course, the newer one perhaps would have a higher degree of capability, but it should also be able to adapt to the existing ones or a legacy ones. So I think that's what my comment would be.
I fully agree with you. See what is happening. Let's see practically. The VoLTE came somewhere around 2015, and since then we have been deploying everything on cloud. The packet core used to come on cloud since 2014. The monolithic have gone away. So if you see the share of the legacy infrastructure which is there, it's negligible, practically negligible on the ground when you see the core networks and all of that. And what you need to do, like, just keep on like working on a gradual approach where all of these legacy systems, they should be part of the automation, they should be integrated with all the platforms, the telemetry has to be enabled, and then eventually with the help of technology, because the technology is moving on a very, very different pace, and is the reason in today's situation most of the network is not legacy, it is the new infrastructure which is there. So I don't see this as a challenge, and eventually with the time we are going to gradually put the new systems and the old legacy platform will go away over the time.
Sure, thank you. I'm keeping an eye on the watch, so maybe one last question for the panel, and maybe just one or two sentences from each one of you. If the industry was to really adopt autonomous networks and AI, what is the boldest bet that we can make? So maybe point of views from each one of you. We can start from yourself and come. Or
the way we are using the API is going to like change the industry forever. So API will be the new like thing which should be the boldest move as far as Airtel is concerned.
I think study the market and go about it cautiously, and not jump into it just because new technology has come and you have to adopt it. I go back to your previous question. In the military, we have weapon systems, and we have obsolete weapon systems which are going out of inventory. Then there are obsolescent which are just about to become obsolete. Then the current, and there is new weapon system. I think we should follow that approach. About 25% of our inventory will remain in the obsolescence space. About 40% will be in the current space, and the balance will be the new technology. This percentage will vary depending on the use cases which emerge, but if the industry goes about it in this manner, and they will not come to grief. These can be dynamic rather than being static. The changeovers can happen accordingly. And this doesn't apply only to the equipment, it also applies to the manpower.
No, that's a very important point. Yes.
So if I add my bit, I would say that network security is going to be utmost important, because we are talking of, self-healing network, self-running network, compute on demand, everything is automated and huge data traffic is going to flow seamlessly. So security becomes extremely important. Network vulnerability to anything, whether it is overuse of any kind or hacking attempts or those kind of network intrusion, which can create bad experiences of all kinds. So that becomes extremely important. And second thing is that the quality of service has to be kept in mind. As my co-panelist on my right side, he said, and I'm sorry, I still have to remember your name while referring to you. Once he referred to what was happening in Chandni Chowk. Those are the kind of on-ground things where human intervention and intelligence will continue to be required, because network has to adapt to those local practices or malpractices, whatever is the term we may use. But that's how India is, and that's how our networks will be. So one has to be careful about that. So I would say security, that is A, and B, the availability of compute, and C, the last thing, which is these networks are going to be guzzlers of energy. We are going to be very soon left with power scarcity. The way demand for power by these networks is increasing day by day, and the kind of data centers which are being planned, we will not have grids to actually serve these kind of data center capacities. So the ability of network to switch off, the ability of data centers to switch off that capacity, and when they are not at their peak use is required. Those are the kind where we have to put our efforts before when we take this plunge.
Thank you.
I think in my mind, I would also say that the boldest move for next 1.5 to 2 years would be to really adopt the automation across all subsystems, right from core, RAN, transports, etc., and use it in a closed loop fashion. I think there are a lot which is happening currently, but if it happens in a closed loop system in an autonomous level 4 or level 3, that's where it will be the right move.
And maybe commenting on security, sir. So I agree with you that security is very, very important. And I think very soon you will see quantum level security, quantum encryptions coming on transport. We support that in a new portfolio. But coming back to the biggest bet, I think what's happening now is everybody is in their race to go to automation and, the service providers, the OEMs, the academia. Probably the best thing that could happen is if a core group is formed, focusing on, let's say, top 2 or 3 use cases with the help of government and regulatory support, and then working in that direction. Because if you really ask me today, everybody is kind of innovating independently. Mm-hmm. But let's say if a core group can be formed, we can have focus on 2-3 things. Probably the innovations will drive in a common direction, and probably we will come out with some palpable use case or kind of a practical scenario which can be implemented all across. I think. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I think this has been an outstanding panel in terms of the ideas that got discussed here. So let me try and summarize this for everybody's benefit. I think the advantage of this panel was that we had perspectives from industry body, government, technology, various perspectives, right? So a few key takeaways for us. One, that the opportunity for autonomous network is real, and it is here and it is now. So it is not something out there in the future. I heard you mention the transactions are growing twice pretty much. And some of the global players have reached level 4. And already there is a lot of work that is happening in AI, on energy efficiency particularly I picked up, and that ties back to the point you made, sir, in terms of this becoming energy guzzlers of the future, and what does it mean for India's energy security. So there are multiple themes which are tying in together. Then we explored the view saying, what are the barriers? So while we heard about barriers saying, okay, there is some multi-vendor environment and legacy that needs to be looked into, or security, I think collectively as a panel, what I heard is that, yes, there are barriers, but our why is stronger than why not. So we will get it done, right? And that got a shot in the arm by the point of view we got from the government perspective, saying that the government is looking at regulatory sandboxes, and they are fully supportive of the industry making innovations and moving forward in this journey. And there were many themes which are highlighted here in terms of layers, engagement and enablement across all sectors. But a word of caution was that it should not create haves and have-nots, right? If I would, saying that let's not create differentiated views where some people who have the benefit of AI in terms of users get impacted. When we moved forward and we said who all need to come in together, it basically means everybody. So the government, the startups, everybody needs to come in together to make it happen. And thanks for making that point about regulations not being rule-based, but maybe more intent and goal-based. And while the goal remains steady, the rules can keep on changing as we go along. And thanks, Girish, for bringing out that point about saying there are a number of use cases which are already implemented. There is substantial value on the table. And Vikas, you brought in that beautiful example about the scenario in Chandni Chowk. I thought that was a real life example of how India is, as people say, India is not for beginners, but I think the innovation from your team there was very, very impactful. The last point I will make as a summary is that if you are a telecom professional, right, this is the most exciting time to be. As you see telecom companies adopting AI and autonomous AI in their networks in a big scale, and actually catch this wind, catch this wave, and make it work for you as you grow together. So with that, I would close this panel. Thank you so much, dear panelists, for your inputs and time today. I personally enjoyed this conversation. Thank you.